Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone, and welcome to this very special Phineas Flynn's Law review. So, A Christmas Peril came out just a few days ago, and I'd like to start by saying that I really enjoyed this episode. The episode was set on Christmas Eve in Milo's time, following in the steps of a certain other Christmas special. Speaking of which, did anyone else hear that Swinter theme here? This presumably takes place after the events of the crossover take place, so there were no major references or plot revelations with regards to the story from Fungus Among Us, as expected. From here on out though, full spoilers for the plot of A Christmas Peril. I'll be honest, when the episode started with the classic opening theme instead of a new one, I was a bit disappointed. I was expecting them to switch it up like they did with Phineas and Ferb, but they didn't. I'm not really sure why, but nonetheless, it still didn't happen. Anyways, Milo's story here was essentially rounding up the members of his extended family for Christmas time as a surprise for his parents, with help from Sarah and his friends. Of course, this went completely awry, with plenty of Murphy's Law jokes and accidents all over the place. What was really cool was that we got to meet many new characters in Milo's family, specifically his grandparents and his aunt, uncle, and cousin Nate. I thought it was hilarious how Nate thought he didn't have Murphy's Law.
I'm not in denial, I just don't have it. It skipped a generation.
And how the grandparents always talked at the same time.
Well, trying to break this window here,
there,
but it's
that's the
quite
thing
thick.
to do.
Would you agree?
Nate is by far my favorite new character of the bunch. However, I do wish we had gotten to spend a bit more time with Milo's family, as there were so many new characters introduced that they felt a bit shortchanged. The only other issue I had here is that the plot felt a bit spotty, as when the plot would cut from the B plot back to Milo, there were gaps, such as when Milo got on the train to when we see it crashed. Bits and pieces of the story felt absent. It was a big task to introduce so many new characters for the Christmas special, and I feel that if they had gone with a bit longer runtime, this plot could have been a bit better. However, I still really liked it, and the ending with the whole family eating in the Chinese restaurant for dinner was very satisfying. Now to Cavendish and Dakota's story. They opened on the year 2195 with Cavendish and Dakota as old men, both regretting the fact that they had a falling out 20 years ago. So they both go back and try to stop themselves from having the argument. Chaos ensues, and numerous timeline doubles and triples are created as they try and wreck the party where they had the argument. I found this story to be far more interesting overall than Milo's story, as it explained a lot more about how time travel works in the universe, and we got to learn a lot more about these characters after their main timeline for the show is complete. For example, they both become pop stars in 20 years from 2175, being famous and writing books essentially as celebrities. Surely there has to be a reason why they become so famous other than being pop stars. Perhaps they finally get recognition for saving the world. Either way, they fix their timeline so that they never fall out and everything is reset. What was strange, however, is that they went back to Milo's time around 2015 to eat Chinese after just finishing the Christmas party in 2175, which seems strange. Why not just eat egg rolls in their time? Maybe prices are cheaper in the past, or our food is just better? I have no idea. Other than that, these two episodes could have been completely separate and no one would be the wiser, which I thought was really odd. It required a bunch of time shifts throughout the episode that felt extremely unnecessary. Had there been some kind of big twist or connection at the end, it would have made a bit more sense, but here it kinda didn't. Like I said though, I really enjoyed the Cavendish and Dakota story. Also, timelines that no longer happen disappear, much like in Phineas and Ferb, which is interesting, since in the Isle of Lost Dakotas episode, the remnants from the timeline stay around. I guess they just use time travel however they like in the show. So, is it better than the Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation episode? I'd personally say no, as I really enjoyed the musical numbers of that episode, as well as the way everything came together at the end, with Santa being the one responsible for everything that happened in both plots throughout the episode, which was very well done. But either way, this was a fantastic episode, and I do hope they do another Christmas special next year from Milo Murphy's Law. Merry Christmas, guys.
We're